self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists.
What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am here to let you know that shutting the fuck up is free. Also known as Calamity Red.
Alrighty then. We are Conversation Con Artists, back for another wonderful, fantastic episode. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Mister_on point.
And I can be found at Red_Calamity. Also, we're still doing the listener letter portion of the show. So if you have a question you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartist@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Conversation Con Artist, and send it to us that way. I don't think we had a letter this week, though.
Nope.
Okay, so you know what that means, people. Read it.
Read it.
So we can do some race shit. We could do some shit about blue balls. We could do some shit about black supremacy.
Let's do the first one.
We could do some what is it? Premature ejaculation. Which one?
The first one.
First one? What was the first one? Race shit?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with this one, because this is the other side of this conversation. So this is a man, his partner, I think this is a man. Usually they say, but anyway, the partner is a 30-year-old female. So the title of this is "My Partner is Throwing White Privilege in My Face." My partner is upset and had questions about all the stuff that's happened this week. Now, most of the week I've been on Reddit and we've been feeling pretty emotional about everything. And I have conservative parents who I talked to today about it because I've been so confused on how to feel. And my dad and I talked, and he just gave nothing but reasonable responses to my questions. And I wanted to share that view with my partner. And as I was just trying to explain the responses I received, I was met with disappointment, and I knew this was going to happen because I was just asking questions about everything, about Black Lives Matter, about the police officer, just about everything. And then it is driving a straight wedge because she's a minority, so she's oppressed, and I'm white, so I have privilege that she will not tolerate. This is the most confusing of times, and I really, really need some advice here. I tried to explain that she had all the same opportunities as the rest of us and still has the same opportunities, such as getting a car, house, etc. Like, she's never been denied anything because of her race, and she just keep mentioning her ancestors were oppressed and she still feels it. How the fuck am I supposed to respond to that? Sir, she hasn't had the same opportunities as you. First of all, no, sweet baby, she hasn't.
Oh, man. I'm wondering how a black woman gets into this relationship. Like, if you are that, a lot of times, especially in those race groups where people exemplify their blackness, a lot of them have a white mate. And I know that, like, environment can make a difference. Clearly, if you're living in fucking Idaho or
Utah,
Vermont or some shit,
yeah,
you don't have that many options. Now, while your folks took you there, I hope you got a comfortable life to those places. And I know there are some environments in America that we go to where it's like mostly white, maybe a private school or something, and so you don't have many options, or maybe a job. But I don't understand how you get into a relationship with somebody who don't even meet the minimum requirements of being able to understand you and your culture. That don't make sense.
I don't know.
That's one reason why I don't think I could date a white person. Yeah, because I need somebody to understand my American experience, even if they haven't had it just like I've had it. And I want to understand the experience of somebody that I'm with.
Yep, that's what I feel the same way why I don't date white men, just because I don't want to have to deal with every time something like this happens. This gonna be an issue. And then his response of you have the same opportunities, such as getting a car and a house. So I guess he don't know what redlining is. Like you, he says that he's trying to understand by asking questions, but you're not if your statement is you've had the same opportunities as me. That's not you trying to learn. That's you trying to convince me that I'm overreacting, which is gonna get you cussed out. So
the amount of shit that you have to lay out for white people in order for them to get this shit, because they're not going to do the research on their own.
No.
Like they would literally have to walk into your house and see one of them push pin boards with red lines attached all to each other to say, look, it started with slavery. It went to Jim Crow. It connected to redlining. Redlining kept us from living on this side of town versus that side of town. The bank started denying black people loans but giving white people loans even once the legislation for housing discrimination was passed. And it still goes on today. There's no legislation that stops them from doing that. Matter of fact, it's a lot of communities that will not allow real estate agents to bring black people to their town. And the real estate agents don't do it because they know they will get fired.
Yep.
Or reprimanded. So you got to lay that shit out. You can't. I mean, I'm not saying you should lay that shit out. That's your prerogative. But if we as a culture, an American culture, are dependent on white people to go do the research, they're not. They don't do research. They just take shit. That's the history of white people. And not all white people take shit, but all white people benefit somehow from the ancestors that they have that took shit. And, what's going on today with the George Floyd protests, I think that it's a good thing that so many white people are seeing this shit, because we can't fix racism that a person has if they think we a monkey. We can't, because when we say systematic oppression, all they gonna hear is that's all they gonna hear. They have to hear it from somebody that they fucking will listen to. Yeah. And it gotta be a white person. You gotta be vigilant towards your white family that's racist. You gotta be vigilant towards your friends that's racist. You gotta be vigilant towards all them motherfuckers. But you also gotta realize that it's a lot of motherfuckers out here that can't be saved from their racism. They don't want to be. Nope. It's very, very convenient to believe that you're the best and to believe that you should have everything given to you on a silver platter. Very convenient. It's nice. Nice life to live. But it's a fucking illusion that they want all of us to help create this false ass reality for them. They just want all black people to be like, oh yeah, we inferior. We sure don't be working harder. We kill each other at a high rate. We sure is. Man, we need to do something about ourselves because damn, we wish we could be like y'all whites. Y'all just so smart. Y'all don't hurt each other or nothing. Y'all got education. Y'all read. Y'all own banks. We don't own nothing. Woo woo wee. That's what they want us to be out here fucking goddamn doing. And that shit that's not the move. That's not what it's about to be.
It's not.
Well, we can't do shit about that. And no, it ain't our fucking job. It ain't my fucking job to be trying to tell a white man, hey, let me explain to you in detail why the way you think is fucked up. Look, if you got fucked up thinking, it's easy to know you got fucked up thinking. Yep. If every time I get mad red and I punch a hole in the wall, if I don't realize that's fucked up thinking and fucked up behavior, then I got an IQ intelligence problem. Or I'm in such deep denial about something that I'm willing to emulate a IQ problem.
And for people that are like, well, if these white people feel like this, why would they be with black folks? I don't think this is all white people, but let us not forget that white people have fetishized us from the very beginning. Okay, you had slave masters sleeping with their slaves and shit. Like, we've been fetishized, and so in that regard, you do have white people that still do that shit. Like they you're black, and that's a fetish for them. They're not dating you as a person. And so because they're not dating you as a person, they don't really give a fuck about all of the other shit that comes along with being black, and they don't understand what that means for you, right? Because you just a fetish. So that's how a lot of these people in interracial relationships end up with tone deaf ass white people, because they wasn't never really trying to understand. They don't really care.
But
It doesn't really impact them.
And then think about his response. His response is one that if he truly believes the shit he said, then he thinks that he's choosing somebody that's on the same level as him, that he's had the same experiences. He don't look at a black person and say, okay, dating this person is gonna come with a particular experience, so I need to be aware of what that's gonna be. No, he's saying, well, she ain't had no different experience than me. You know, she only got a different color skin, but that don't mean anything in the context of America. Like, how naive do you have to be to have that perspective?
Yep.
You know, but either way, that's another way that a whole ass white person can date a black person and not know what the fuck they getting themselves into.
Yep.
And I hate to say it like that because the way I said it just implies that they getting into some trouble. But the reality is they are getting into an opportunity to learn about their fucking past ancestor shenanigans, bullshit ass shenanigans, and they not gonna like it. And so this is what happened. They stay in that relationship, put this shit on a Reddit post, and just be racist underneath.
Oh.
But like I said, look, I put up a quick test last week.
You did.
For y'all to determine the level of understanding that a white person has for the culture when you engage with them. You make sure you have that test, and you make sure you add your own components. You know, you got your own litmus test for whether a black or a white person is fit to engage with you. I still don't know why you would date them, you know, because women, just don't know why you want to see some pink meat and naked white women just look like undone chicken. So
I'm not doing this with you today.
Black women look well cooked and delicious.
Okay, I'm moving on now.
It's like, I'm just saying, it's like they got the skin that don't, you know, they say that baby got a face only a mama can love. They got skin only another white person can love. To me.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with the race stuff because we moved. You with this skin shit. So I wanted to look at some different race shit. Like, so that one was from the perspective of this white man that's dealing with this. And now this is from the perspective of a Native American that's dating a white person, which has to be probably, I wonder if that's harder. I wonder if it's harder to be Native American and bring home a white man than it is to be black and bring home a white man. They fucked the Native American over too. So she's 20 and her boyfriend's 19. The title of it is I'm Native American and trying to resolve some guilt within myself in regards to my boyfriend. So I'm a little over 50%, I'm going to say this so wrong, Lipan Apache. Probably said that wrong. The Apache I got right. The Lipan I don't know. My native side has been a huge part of my life, going to powwows and dancing since I was a kid. I fully intend to pass this to my children the way my dad has done to us. Growing up, my aunt was very adamant that I had to do my duty as a Native American and marry a fellow Native. She said that was how I could keep my culture alive. Because I had to keep my culture alive, I spent my whole life thinking I had to do that, and I've spent all of it telling myself that I would never, ever end up with a white person because I couldn't fail my people. To sum it up, for about 2.5 years, I've been with the most amazing guy. He's so much more than what I hoped for. My boyfriend is white, but he's fully supportive of my Native side. I've already told him that our kids are going to dance, they're going to powwows, that they're going to know everything I know. He's down for it all, and he's even gone to several of my family powwows because he wants to support me, knows how important it is for me. But what my aunt used to tell me as a kid seems to kind of haunt me. I feel so horrible that sometimes I feel guilty that he isn't Native. The best way I can describe it is like I almost feel like I'm failing my ancestors. Every time I think about it, I think about how our kids will only be one how they'll only be a fourth, and they probably won't marry a native, and their kids will be even less. And then I go on a whole spiral. I know this is tied to the fact that I overthink every situation I'm in, so I've been trying to work on that. I guess I'm just scared that one day all the traditions in life that I love will be forgotten. I love him so much. This is in no way affects any of that. We're both in it for the long run, so I know this is just something I need to resolve within myself. I mentioned to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he understood why I feel like that, and as usual, was his awesome supportive self. Do any of y'all have any advice to help me work through this? I really want to work through this guilt because I feel like such a horrible girlfriend whenever the guilt hits because he's so good to me. Child. I don't know. It's tough.
That's a lot.
I mean, that's tough. And the reason why I say it's tough, the dwindling, or not the dwindling, what is the correct word? The diluting of her native ancestry. I mean, that's the real thing. Them kids ain't gonna, they gonna continue. I mean, as the lineage goes on, they gonna look more and more white. Shit, her kids gonna look white. She only half.
She's only half?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was just a hopeful dialogue for the aunt, because kid, I guess you were looking at, this one stop was, what it was, but now we got to keep going in the direction of our natives.
Well, yeah, because if she got with a native, then that kid would be 75% and it would go back up. But with her getting with somebody white, it goes down.
I think people should do what they're going to do to make them happy.
Yeah, she don't carry the weight of her ancestors on her back like that. Like,
but I do think you also, in this case, have to recognize what bullshit this comes with.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the best case scenario that you find the best interracial partner as it pertains to your culture, comes with some bullshit. That nigga family don't feel that way.
Probably not.
All of them. Your family definitely don't feel that way.
No, especially that aunt.
Yeah, that's unnecessary pressure.
Can you imagine a white man dressed up doing a dance around at a powwow? I just feel like it would
Dirk Nowitzki, goddamn. Dirk Nowitzki used to play for the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
He had a goddamn African wife, and they showed him in a dashiki doing his little dance and shit. They said he bought she gave him a takeout plate of African food every day to be having at the house. Like, it would look awkward and weird, but I mean, I support a white man who supports a black, native, Latino, Asian, etc. woman, and is willing to engage and embrace their culture and learn about their culture. But the thing that sits in the very back of my head is what will happen that will bring up that insensitivity.
Yeah.
What will happen? What moment will show up that makes you realize, damn, I thought he was really down, or I thought he knew. And I just hate to be an educator for my partner as it pertains to my culture.
How long ago was the pipeline shit? Was that? Because they've been together for 2.5 years.
About around that.
So she met him during that time. I wonder what or if they discussed it, or if she met him like maybe on the end of it. So she didn't really, get how he felt or get to see how he responded to it. Like, I don't know.
I mean, who knows? But everybody got blind spots. I've been having to talk lately about how I got blind spots. As much as I be talking about, advocacy and allies and trying to, make sure I say the right thing. I mean, I need everybody to know that I say that with idealism in mind. I speak for the person that I want to be, and hope to be that person at some point. So even in the best case scenario of a person speaking as idealistic as possible, where are they blind spots? And what if you don't find out the blind spots show up until you have kids?
Yeah.
How is it like? How do white people define white culture? Because is he gonna okay? Clearly they're gonna be teaching their kids a whole bunch of native shit, but what do you teach kids about white shit?
That's a good ass question.
You know, what do you
No.
teach kids about white shit?
Do they have a culture? It seems
No,
like everything they
listen.
had, they took.
People keep saying that. I don't think they have a culture, not because they took everything and the culture belonged to them, but because they have become so complacent in being called white and being white in America that they've abandoned where their original culture came from. They've abandoned it and they okay with it for the clout. They all right with it. They just want, we got the money, we got the power, we got the position. I mean, I don't give a fuck about my culture. We got stocks, you know what I'm saying? We got Supreme Courts and politics.
Yeah.
We got all this shit. If you want to be a politician, son, ain't nothing gonna hold you back. If you don't want to be a politician, then you can do what the fuck you want. You can just be a rich ass regular motherfucker because we'll help you figure out finances. Like I think that's the case. I think there is no white culture because they abandoned it. Because they don't even use the culture that they stole and try to implement that shit into their kids.
Yeah.
You know, they stole it, but they don't use it. They stole it and they like use it for gain from through the groups that they use, like on Facebook. You'll scroll down and you'll see these Black Power shirts with fists on them and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Especially today, it's been like this, but go into the comments. There is always somebody who asks, is this black owned? And most of the time, no, it's not. It's a white person selling t-shirts they would never wear in their goddamn life.
Yep.
So I don't think white people have a culture, but it's not because they took shit from other people and use it, because they don't use it. I think that they've abandoned the notion of culture for themselves because white in America just means I got some shit. And you can teach kids how to get some shit, but that's not a culture. That's a strategy.
Yeah.
So what would he even teach his kids? He would have to, like, I feel like he may go back to his roots and say some shit like, you know, my family's lineage is from Germany or Switzerland or whatever. But they still don't even, like,
No.
over here in America, even people who are conscious of that lineage, unless you Irish
Or Italian.
or Italian or several other, you know, cultures in America that, you know, kind of they really hold on to their culture. Outside of that, they don't practice nothing that got something to do with their culture.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess I should ask white people with white mates that I know, what does your white mate teach your kids about their lineage? You know, that's an interesting question. I'd like to know the answer to. Because with Native American, we could teach you about these dances. We could teach you about dream catchers and all of this different stuff that goes way back into our past. What is a white person really going to teach their kids?
Okay, well, I got one more race one.
Okay.
And it's another situation where it's like a different viewpoint. So this is a woman. She's 26. Her boyfriend is 27. And the title of this one is "My Boyfriend is a Black Supremacist," which I didn't know was a
Jesus.
thing. Well, he calls himself a Black Israelite, Black Hebrew, or Black Jew. I am white, and we have 2 kids. One is white and not biologically his, but he is her dad and has been all her life. He does not treat us poorly or anything like that, but he is very obsessed with the Black Hebrew movement. But it started to cross a line, in my opinion, because he's starting to share very anti-white, anti-woman, and anti-Semitic views. The anti-Semitic shit bothers me the most. I understand and encourage him wanting to know as much as possible about Black history and even wanting to feel a part of something exclusive, i.e. the 12 tribes of Israel. I thought that he would eventually get tired of it and focus his energy somewhere else, but he only got more obsessed and more problematic. I would not tolerate supremacist views from anyone, full stop, and I begged him to fulfill the need to be connected to his Black roots in another way. I do not want him spreading these beliefs to our children. I love him dearly, obviously, but enough is becoming enough. I hate that I had to make this post, but I'm getting to my wit's end. What can I do to discourage the obsession, or should I give him an ultimatum? Thanks.
Ultimatums don't work in
They do not.
relationships.
Don't go in your
Don't
face.
give anybody an ultimatum ever in a relationship. Okay, that shit ain't gonna go your way, and if it does go your way, then the person gonna have the leverage to say, "Well, I only did this because," so they not gonna be invested in it. At best, you need to manipulate and trick somebody into some shit. Don't tell them up front. But ma'am, it's many circumstances where I'll tell a black man to leave a white woman, but white woman, you need to leave the black man. Sorry, I know you got kids together. You're gonna have to deal with that shit because once that Hebrew Israelite shit take over a black dude,
Yeah.
it's a wrap. Wait till his third eye open up. Just wait.
I wouldn't even date a black Israelite. I'm black. Too much.
But I mean, we know what black Israelites come with. Listen. I'm not gonna bash black Israelites. Too bad, because I don't understand everything they're talking about. I just know that they are really heavy on misogyny, which I don't fuck with. They're really heavy on sexism, which I don't fuck with. They are deeply anti-Semitic because a lot of their messages come from Farrakhan, which he is very anti-Semitic, and I just don't support that shit. I don't support them kind of. Now I don't know the root of why they're anti-Semitic, so I just not gonna get into it. But it's not looking good for you, ma'am. It's not looking good for your kids. And frankly, I don't know why they even let him in the club with a white woman.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
a
got to
white
be talking
child that
mad
he
shit.
adopted.
They got to be talking mad shit about him existing with the family dynamic he got. Like, if you're gonna go down the path of being a black Hebrew, then you need to let white things go.
Have you ever watched "I'ma Get You, Sucker" with
Mm-hmm.
Keenan Ivory Wayans?
Yeah.
He sound like that man who had a white wife, but he was like a black Israelite. You
Yeah.
remember that part of him?
Yeah.
Bean pies and all of that shit, but then his wife white as fuck.
It's like idealism in the wrong direction. It's like I'm going to, say these words that represent how I want to be, but my actions don't really support that.
Yeah.
No. But also, there is no fucking such thing as a black supremacist. Okay? Let's get that shit out the way. Ain't no such thing as a black supremacist. The same thing about can black people be racist? And a whole bunch of people be like, yeah, black people can be racist. And then a lot of people like, no, black people can't be racist. Well, I'm in the no black people can't be racist camp. Okay. The reason is because racism comes with a component of power. To truly be racist, you got to be able to do something with it. You know what I'm saying? White people got the Mjolnir of goddamn racism. If you don't know what that fucking is, that's Thor's hammer, okay? They got the motherfucking privilege on lock, and that shit is Mjolnir, and we can't pick the motherfucker up. All right? They can motherfucking summon that bitch from across the world, and that bitch will come straight into their hands. That's what they got. We don't have that. If you don't have that power with your racism, you are an idiot at best. If you think you are superior to white people, it's only because you've convinced yourself that you are. In America, we have no evidence that we're superior to white people. And frankly, we shouldn't hope to be superior to white people. The only reason people want to be superior to white people is because white people have claimed to be superior to us. At the end of the day, we should just want shit to be on an even ass playing field. That's what I want. I want shit to be on an even playing field. I don't even want to be superior because I don't want to be put in a position to be able to treat a white person like shit, but have to treat them good. I don't want to be on that. I don't want that responsibility because I will treat them like shit. Not because they white, but because I would have the power. And when you have the power, it come along with being a dickhead sometimes. So I don't want to be a supremacist, a black supremacist, if it could even exist. Because number one, in America, it can't. And number two, it's not something we should aspire to be anyway. And the fact that it seems like that's what they're aspiring to be is better than white, or that they've convinced themselves that they're better than white. Now, I think personally, in America, white people are in a better position than brown people. But frankly, having melanin is way fucking more useful than goddamn not having it.
We cool as shit, just in general. Melanin, we just cool as shit.
But are we? I mean, but I'm just going outside of like personality. Like our cultural personality is cool as fuck, but it was very well may be in spite of what we've been through. You know what I'm saying? Like while white people was up there fucking ball dancing to classical music, we was rebelling in the basement with jazz. Now we might not have had jazz if that was the case. If we was the fucking supremacists, maybe we would be fucking ballroom dancing to classical music, and they have some fucking unseasoned jazz in the basement. It'll still be unseasoned jazz. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be something different. So our personality may be in spite of what we've gone through, but if you just look at us outside of personality shit, we got melanin, and then at least that protects us from the sun. We have less cases of sunburn and melanoma, even though we can get that shit, both of them.
Okay, I'm gonna move off race shit, and we're gonna move into some sex shit.
Leave them, sis.
How
Take
you?
the kids.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
thought I was
that
talking
ain't
about
gonna
the one
work.
you was finna say.
Well, you won't say leave him because of your meat positivity. So, uh,
Uh-oh.
uh,
No orgasms.
so the title of this is what to do. So I love my boyfriend a lot, but he's developed a bit of a problem in bed. Sometimes he comes very quickly. Personally, that doesn't bother me. He always goes down on me and gets me to finish too. The problem is that it takes its toll on him and he'll just be uber depressed for a long time afterwards. It bothers him enough that he has bought a hollow strap on so he doesn't have to worry about it. Only thing is, we tried using it today, but since he was flaccid, okay, I'm sorry. It's not funny. I'm so fucking immature. Wait, okay.
Mm.
Okay. Only thing is, we tried using it today, but since he was flaccid, the dick was just bending instead of going in. Sorry. I'm sorry. This made him way more depressed. I want to be there to support him and everything, but to be honest, I'm starting to feel like maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just not able to make him happy. Maybe he'd be happier with someone else. I don't know what to do anymore. Just to know, it isn't the sex that is the problem. It's the depression he gets after.
First off, don't be laughing at this man meat mishaps, okay?
I
Everybody
mean,
ain't got it.
it's not funny. Okay, it's not.
Everybody ain't got it. He got the wrong hollow dildo, man. A lot of
But
hollow dildos
that's what
accommodate
makes laugh.
mangly meat.
He can't even get it in a dildo.
That probably mean it's a lot of meat. I mean, I guess he got that going for him. I mean, I guess it ain't no point of having a whole bunch of a large quantity of raw meat if you ain't got no way to cook it. I guess that is really just a waste. That shit gonna go bad or have to be frozen forever. You'll never be able to capitalize on it if that's the case.
So, all jokes aside, this is I think this is a real thing that a lot of people go through because, like, women, she don't even care about the sexual part of it, like, because we are a lot more emotional based. But he is so tied to his ability to do this thing, and now he can't do it, and so it makes him feel lesser than, even though she's not making him feel lesser than. This is something that he's kind of doing to himself, just because society says you should be slanging meat like a pro with no issue. But she loves him anyway, and she wants to still be with him despite this. So this is something he's gonna have to figure out.
This is meat positivity 101. Okay, this is what society does to us men. We sit there and watch Wesley Pipes and goddamn Mr. Marcus and Lex Steele piping down women and with the big meat, and we sit here and tell ourselves that we supposed to have big meat. We supposed to be able to pipe women. We supposed to go minute after minute after minute. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't reality. Women don't exist like that. You know, you only need 4 inches to reach a woman's G spot. Did you know that? Real?
Yes, I did know that. I took human sexuality.
You only need 4 inches to reach the woman's G spot. Now clearly you don't just want 4 inches to be able to reach it, but there are men that have 4 inches, and if your self-esteem is tied to what you don't have, then you're going to struggle with the idea that you don't have what you think you should versus your ability to make your woman happy. You can
Which
make
she
a woman
sounds like
happy.
she's happy. She literally is concerned for him because he gets depressed behind this shit and it makes him feel bad. And that makes her feel bad. Now she questioning herself if it's her. Which, ma'am, it's not you.
I'm gonna add some dialogue to this conversation that you're not gonna like,
Fuck.
but the men will love it. Listen, I think that he's doing everything he can on the surface. It don't sound like he's went to a professional to see what's going on. This may be a very easy fix. This may be a health vitamin regimen. This may be some exercises. Coming fast is a problem of somebody who don't have control of their Kegel muscles.
And he developed it. So this hasn't been this way their entire relationship. Something has occurred that has contributed to this.
I got a question for you.
Oh, fuck. Why? This isn't about me.
It's just a personal question that I've talked to other people about that I want to know your perspective on, but it may not have ever happened to you.
Fine.
Have you ever got ready to engage with a man sexually and he could not get hard?
I don't think so. I've had on the other end of that, like it being over very quickly, but I don't think so.
From women that I've talked to that have had that experience, the dynamic is their self-esteem becomes impacted because that moment makes it feel like they're not attractive enough or they're not.
Because here's the thing. When we think about men, we think about y'all in terms of being like these highly sexual beings, right? And who you fucking wake up with morning wood, okay? Like this is just something that happens all the time. So then when I'm standing here naked and can't make something that happens naturally happen, then it is going to make you feel like it's you. I mean, I would imagine that that's how I would have felt. I would have been like, well, damn.
Well, I mean, she probably need to massage his prostate.
No.
I'm just saying, if she massages prostate and it goes straight up, she need to send him where he belong. He don't belong with you, ma'am.
To go to see
he belongs
a doctor.
with a gentleman.
He need to go see a doctor and see it could be something psychological. He may just be in his own head too much. And like it may have happened one time and that freaked him out so much that now he's concerned that it's going to happen every time. And so he's unconsciously making it happen because he's in his head too much. It could be a number of things.
Precoital anxiety.
Yep. I mean, there's a number of reasons why this could be happening. And he's going to have to figure that shit out because there ain't a lot she can do for him. Like, she's being as supportive as she can, but he gets heavily depressed after these incidents happen. And he's going to have to take more than just buying fake dicks to try to fuck his girlfriend better. Like, you need to figure out why this is happening. Okay? Might be an easy solution. You can get back to doing what y'all was doing before. But I think another part of this goes into, and I really hate that I'm a part of a meat positivity fucking topic. But anyway, I think it's the embarrassment of this happening. You don't want to talk to this. Tell nobody that this is happening to him because it makes you feel lesser than. So you don't want to go to a doctor and say my dick isn't working.
I would.
You would, but a lot of men would be embarrassed to have to go do that. Because either way, if you go tell a woman that, you're going to be embarrassed because you're telling a woman that your dick don't work. Just in general, that's going to be embarrassing. And then if you go to a man doctor, you tell a man doctor that your dick ain't working, then you still going to feel embarrassed because this is a man with a dick who probably works. And he going to be judging me.
I feel like I've done a lot of compartmentalization over my penis and my psyche because that's the issue. It becomes connected to our psyche, our self-esteem, our self-worth. our perceived ability to please a woman, our penis becomes attached to all that stuff. And so, yeah, you might get embarrassed talking to a woman about it, but my meat is just another fucking part of my body that may or may not work sometimes. And when shit on your body don't work, it means either you got a blood flow problem, it means you got some kind of vitamin deficiency, it means something that they can trace to fixing it. Like, I'd be goddamned if embarrassment let my meat not work for 3 years when that shit could be fixed in a month. That's not what I'm finna be about. And furthermore, like, that lady don't want your meat. I used to, like, when I went to go get my physical, I was afraid of a physical because they said, yeah, they make you drop your pants and they grab your balls and tell you to cough. That's what they do. And I was like, well, I hope it's a man. Then I was like, that don't sound right. I don't want it to be no man. I want it to be a woman. But then I was like, but I don't want it to be a pretty woman. I want it to be a woman who ain't gonna make my dick hard. But I'm pretty sure they used to that shit. But I mean, we got to do a lot of individual work to erase some of the expectations that society had come to have on us about our penis. Can't get caught up in that shit. And I mean, he has adjusted, but for him to decline emotionally and self-worth and self-esteem to decline because of this, he got to fix this problem if he want to fix how he feel about it. But men, there are things you can do to help your situation. One, if you come really fast, you can do Kegel exercises. And the way that you test to see if your Kegels have some level of strength is when you midstream peeing, stop yourself from peeing. If you can stop yourself easily, your Kegels are pretty strong. If you can't stop yourself easily, your Kegels are pretty weak, which means that when it's about time to come, you can't control that either. Those muscles are helpful in that. Another thing that I came across, and this is the part where I said it'll probably be a little uncomfortable for you, but man, you can holler at me. There is a vitamin regimen that is referred to as the Cum Holy Grail. And what this regimen does is it increases the hardness of your penis, it increases the amount of semen formulated, and it increases the intensity of your orgasm. Now, for all intents and purposes, these are, the amount of semen formulated is for pregnancy purposes, because the more that you can have, the easier that it will send the semen to impregnate your lady. So clearly, if you out here hitting raw, you don't need to take no regimen like that. But if y'all want to know what regimen that is, then holler at me if you feel like your system could be better. And I say that to say that there's things that he probably can do that'll help him overcome this problem and get his self-esteem and his relationship back, and to be able to give his woman more than 60 seconds. Gotta increase that, man. Y'all gotta get that time up, fellas. You gotta work out.
Missy Elliott did an entire song surrounding that.
You gotta work out by yourself too. You can't just work out with the ladies.
Okay, here's the other sex one. I only had 2. How do I cuddle and avoid blue balls? Which I don't have an answer for this. I'm sure you can, I don't know. Anyway, I suppose with the kind of stuff I read on this subreddit, this is a good problem to have. This doesn't make it any less painful to me, though. My girlfriend, who is 19, and I, who is 20, love to cuddle. We watch movies and YouTube together whenever we can, but every time we do, I get an erection that doesn't go away. Even if I deal with it before cuddling, it comes back within the hour. I seem to just get excited easily, much to my frustration. The problem is, when I leave it alone for extended periods, 30 plus minutes, I feel immense discomfort for hours. I've learned this is called, oh my goodness, epididymal hypertension. And while most describe this pain as mild, I cannot disagree more. It's unbearable, making the simple act of standing up or walking feel like taking a punch to the stomach for each step. Worse yet, if I start feeling this way, masturbation doesn't help much. So cuddling brings me more pain than comfort, making it much less enjoyable than it should be. I brought this up to my girlfriend, and I'm fortunate enough to have a very understanding partner. This being our first relationship, we're both new to this sort of stuff. I don't want to have to get up every hour to go deal with it when I'd rather just chill with her. I also don't want to bug her for sex when neither of us are in the mood. What should I do? Does anyone have anything they do to either stifle, we went to the other end of the spectrum, to either stifle erections or prevent a case of blue balls? I still want to cuddle with her, but this makes it less fun and more painful. I've never heard of wait a minute, where'd it go? Epididymal, I guess is how you say this, hypertension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So blue balls is a thing, but it is rare. It don't happen a lot. It's something for somebody with a particular, I guess, penile setup down there that makes blood being in their penis an extra period of time hurt at some point. But I've heard a lot of men just adopt that language to mean I want to be fucking. You need to do something about this woman because you the reason that my meat hard and I got blue balls, so we need to be having sex. But the reality is, you go relieve yourself in the damn bathroom. Hell.
But he said he's been doing that, but he don't want to get up every time to have to go do that.
Well, if you don't take your monkey ass into that bathroom, I mean, if your girl don't want to have sex, ask if you can let go on her back. Hell. People do these things.
I'm not
you can look
saying
like that if you want
don't,
to.
but I'm saying, like, if they watching a movie, you gotta clean up and shit. It's too much.
I mean, you got to set up for that. Hey, babe, I have a condition, okay? And
first of all, that's gonna sound like some bullshit. If somebody came to me and was like, I have a condition where I need to blast off on your back regularly, I'm gonna be like,
no, it's not. It's not. This is middle ground.
okay.
This is middle ground. You don't want sex. Fine. Let's wait till we do that. But I have a thing where when we too close, my penis get too hard, blood run for too long, and it start to feel a certain type of way. You know, and I'm like, is he going to the bathroom and beating off and she not know it? Like,
no, she probably know what he doing. He didn't discuss the issue with her. He said she's supportive, so
yeah, come up with some alternative to sex. I mean, most of the women that I've had conversations with that are abstinent from sex weren't abstinent from blowjobs and hand jobs and all kind of other stuff. You know, like just find out where her wiggle room is.
But if every time, like if we literally go sit down and watch a movie that we both want to see, like I'm excited and hyped about this movie, I want to watch the fucking movie. Like I don't want to be on my knees while we watching this goddamn movie. And I don't want to pause the movie, so don't suggest pausing shit, okay?
What then? Don't get the movie started. So, okay, if he can't last an hour and a half without getting his meat hard enough to start hurting, then presumably you can get it over with pretty quick. So before movie night start, touch on him, rub on him a little bit, let him get what he gonna get, finish, and then have regular date night. I mean, damn. Y'all got to come up with some kind of middle ground. If you like this dude, you don't want to have sex with him because you respect your faith. He respects your faith, or whatever reason you don't want to have sex.
No, they have sex, but he said this happens so often. It's more often than she's wanting to have sex.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This sounds like every time they get together, he just get hard all the time.
I mean, I'd like to have a woman that would relieve me when I need to be relieved, or be a part of the process. She don't have to necessarily have sex with me. It don't have to be a blow job. It don't even have to be a hand job. You know, it could be her helping me play with myself. I mean, it could be anything, but she can't be like sex is all we can do and nothing in between that. And nothing around that.
I think you're missing the point. It's not doing stuff in between it. It's how often he would be needing that to happen.
Okay.
It's the frequency, not the activity itself.
Some women out here got to get used to more engagement than they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, your body, your choice, ma'am. You know, in terms of full-blown sex. But how about a hand or two?
Okay,
Lend,
do you have
lend
one?
me a hand, ma'am.
Okay, I'm done with mine because you said you had one that you wanted to read that was kind of long.
It is kind of long. Where
Is
did I
this going to
put that
make me
damn
upset?
thing at?
Hopefully you can't find it because I think it's
Bruh,
going to make me upset.
it is gonna make you upset, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Hold on.
Okay.
Uh, I don't have no problem with going and taking care of myself in a relationship, out of a relationship. I don't, it don't ain't no skin off of my back. I hope to have a woman who be like, hey, let's get that took care of and then get to this movie and then actually do that. But if that's not the case, then it is what it is. I take care of myself, come back and get some cuddles. I mean, I feel like this dude probably really young.
They are 19 to 20.
Yeah, that's the age where like you just got out of high school. So when people said you beat your meat, you was saying, no, I don't, even though you was. It's that embarrassing moment where it's like, I don't want people to acknowledge that I'm doing this because I can't get women, but you ain't really supposed to be getting women at that age.
No.
So they just now 2-3 years getting out of that system. And so she probably still kind of like, limiting on how she views sex and engagement. And he's probably still embarrassed about that experience. I found it. All
Yay.
right. This is a tough one. It's a long one, but it's tough.
All right.
I, 32 female, found out last night that my husband, 37 male, stalked and manipulated me into a relationship.
What? Is this that
This
show you? That sound like you from
look, this shit
Netflix.
finna get tough.
Oh, Jesus.
Hi all, I'm not even sure how to start. I'm not a regular Redditor, but I do sometimes browse the site when bored. I looked online to see if I could find any information regarding my issue. Well, at least not anything helpful. Nevertheless, I be making this kind of post, but here I am. Never thought I'd be making this kind of post, but here I am. Apologies if this gets long. I haven't really been able to gather my thoughts. So I met my now husband, who I'll call Dave, about 5 years ago. We've been married for 2.5 years now. We have an affordable 20-month-old daughter, adorable
I was
20-month
about to say, how the
old
fuck is she
daughter.
affordable?
Well, I mean, it's possible to have kids that are not affordable. I mean, what do you mean? Fuck you mean? Kids are expensive.
Who's gonna say that though? Go ahead.
And I'm currently 4 months pregnant. We just bought a house a couple of years ago in the suburbs outside of a larger metropolitan area. Dave was an acquaintance of a coworker, So about 5 years ago, I started to see him frequently at the bar we'd go get drinks after work. I'll admit that at first I wasn't particularly attracted to him. Not that he's ugly, he just wasn't the type I was into at that point in my life. Anyway, when Dave started coming around, he would, after a while, try to chit chat with me. It was obvious he was interested, but I tried to decline his advances as gently as I could. He was persistent, and one night, after maybe one drink too many, I agreed to go on a date with him. I remember the date started out a bit awkward as our previous encounters had always been within a group, so it was the first time it was just the two of us. Plus, I admit I didn't really want to be there. I had actually considered canceling, but I was having really bad luck dating at that point. So I decided that since I had no other plans, why not? Anyway, the date started out slow and it was mostly Dave talking for the first half. But then after a while, he started bringing up some topics that I was interested in, a hobby and a particular cause that I felt strongly about. The second half of the date was much better, and I was kind of surprised to learn that Dave and I actually had some things in common. I was still hesitant, but decided to give Dave a chance. And although he definitely liked me a lot more than I liked him in the beginning, our relationship slowly began to grow, and eventually I fell in love with him. Since then, I would say that we've had a really good relationship. He is my best friend, an excellent father, and a great husband. Furthermore, he is a good provider as well. Once our daughter was born, he decided that it made the most financial sense for me to quit my job and stay home. It was a role that I admitted was not 100% on board with in the beginning, but when we looked at the numbers, it was the most logical decision. Despite my initial hesitancy, I've grown to love it. I honestly couldn't imagine having to spend so much time away from my daughter. But I recognize that because of my husband, we're in a very fortunate position to do so. I know that many families cannot live off of just one income. I don't want to give away too much personal information, so I'll only say that my husband works in IT. We're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we're able to live a modest middle class lifestyle on just my husband's income. Except for the rare couples fight, things between my husband and I generally have been really good. We get along well. And up until last night, I would have said that my life is ideal.
Oh shit.
We finna hit the dip on the
'Cause
roller
it's been
coaster
too
ride.
good. It's been too good.
A lot of these stories be like this. It be like all these things are good, but this thing. Uh, the issue. Like many people, my husband has been working at home since the whole coronavirus mess started. It took a little bit of adjustment, but it hasn't been too bad. As my husband works in IT, his work hasn't been disrupted too much by having to work remotely. I think the changing environment has been the biggest issue. To stay connected, my husband has been meeting virtually once or twice a week with his friends or coworkers. Last night, he was playing games with his little brother Tom and a couple of his friends. While playing these games, my husband had a few beers. He rarely drinks, but since the lockdown, he's been having 2 to 3 beers, usually on Friday nights when meeting virtually. This is not a problem in my opinion, and I only mention it because he does not have that much of a tolerance for alcohol. This is relevant because last night he had more than his usual 2 to 3 beers. So after I put our daughter to bed, I checked my cell phone to see that I had a message from Tom's girlfriend. They've been dating for about a year and a half now, and since they only live about an hour away, we frequently double date. I like Tom and his girlfriend, so I was super excited when I opened her message to see that they were now officially engaged. Went to the next message. It was a big group chat, so it was filled with messages of congratulations. I noticed that in one message, Tom had written big thanks to Dave, without whose advice I would have never gotten this far. I personally thought it was very sweet. Seems like they were looking to us as an example. I immediately ran downstairs to my husband to talk to him about it. I knew he was playing games with Tom, so he obviously must have known earlier about the engagement. I sat on the couch and we started talking about how long Tom had been planning this out. Much did the ring cost? When was the wedding? I noticed that Dave was a bit drunk, which I guess was the result of him celebrating his little brother's next step in life. While cuddling, I mentioned to him about what a good example he was to Tom, and this is where it all began. The whole night was such a whirlwind that I don't remember every little thing, but basically Dave told me how he helped, in quotation marks, Tom make his girlfriend, now fiance, fall in love with him. I asked what he meant, and he went into this whole story, which I had never heard before, about how he got me to fall in love, in quotation marks, with him. The true story of how we met, how we fell in love, and our relationship blossomed. Dave was clearly drunk, and I was so shocked that all I could do was stupidly smile and act like everything was no big deal. I think that just made him open up even more. The real story, according to my husband, is that he first found me on a dating site about a half a year before we met. He claims that he initially sent me a message, but that I just ignored him. He looked kind of hurt when talking about this, but I told him that women get hundreds of messages a week on those sites, and that there was just no way that I could read through all of them, much less respond. He claims that I did read his, but no response. He said that we ranked very highly in compatibility, had a lot of the same interests, and that he just knew we'd make the perfect couple. So apparently after this, he started creating a bunch of fake profiles. He stole pictures of very attractive men from social media profiles. He said he would make minor changes so as to not to be reverse searched. I never even considered that. Using these profiles, he started basically catfishing me. Over the course of a couple of months, he was able to initiate conversations with me on numerous occasions with different profiles, and eventually at some point, I guess I mentioned where I worked. He said he then spent hours searching through Facebook and LinkedIn before he found my picture. At that point, he had my name and started hardcore stalking me online. He had created numerous social media profiles, some of which I accepted as friends, followers, so then he was able to stalk my life. After a couple of months, according to him, he started stalking me in real life. He said that he started going and hanging out at the bar that we always went after work and befriended Mark, a coworker of mine. Mark worked in IT like Dave, and although nice, he was socially awkward and a bit of a loner. I was always surprised when he would join us for happy hour because he usually would just sip on his beer and not say anything. Anyway, I guess Dave started stalking Mark and became his friend somehow. So then when we meet for happy hour, Dave would invariably start to hang out with my group of coworkers and I. It seemed to work out well because Dave was pleasant and Mark seemed to open up a bit more when he was around. So this went on for like a month. And then Dave started trying to hit on me. Again, he's not a bad looking guy, but he just wasn't my type. After a month or two, I eventually agreed. As mentioned before, I was drunk and having terrible luck in a dating game. My bad luck was actually Dave's fake profiles. I kept chatting with guys who I thought I would really have gotten along with. In some cases, we chatted for weeks. And then when it was time to meet, I kept getting blown off. It was a huge hit to my self-esteem. One night after waiting for over an hour for my date to show up, I finally went back to my car and just cried. I couldn't understand it and honestly started having doubts about myself. One particularly cruel episode was after another date with one of Dave's fake profiles. I received a text message which said something like I didn't look as good as my pictures and was accused of catfishing him. The next week during our happy hour was when I was finally agreed to go on a date with Dave. I guess he essentially tore me down so that I would feel like shit and agree to go out with him. When I asked him about all the different phone numbers, he claimed that he had bought a few burner phones. Like, what the hell? But wait, it gets worse. Something I had never told Dave about was when we first started dating, I actually was talking with someone else. I was not completely into Dave like he was into me at the beginning, so when this gorgeous guy began messaging me on the dating site I was using, I started chatting with him. After constantly being blown off on dates, I was so very cautious when I was talking to Alex, this new guy. So even though things seemed to be going well, I still kept talking to Dave as well. I wanted to be sure that Alex wasn't just another asshole before I made my decisions with Dave. So Alex and I went on our first date, which was absolutely great until the end. The date was off to a good start because he actually showed up and he was more handsome in real life. I couldn't believe that someone like him was so interested in me. As I said, my self-esteem was absolutely in the gutter by now. So the date goes great. We get along. We're laughing and staring into each other's eyes. I haven't felt this kind of connection ever. I remember my heart fluttering and I even had butterflies in my stomach. I honestly thought it was love at first sight. Up until the end, it was really a magical night, like something out of a movie. I told y'all it was long. We had a couple of glasses of wine, but neither of us were drunk, but we were feeling good. After we got out of the bar, we started making out a bit in the parking lot behind. I just felt so good in that moment, and I really thought that I finally had found a guy who I connected with, and it had been a while since I've been with anyone. So I lost myself a bit in the passion and suggested that Alex come home with me. I still remember the way his face just dropped. His beautiful blue eyes just became cold as ice, and his body just tensed up. He stepped back, said, "Sorry, I'm not into sluts," and walked off. It was one of the most devastating moments of my life. I never would have guessed something like that happening, not after the night we just shared, and I was honestly in shock. I thought it was maybe a stupid joke, but he seriously just turned and walked away. After what felt like forever, I realized he wasn't coming back, and I swear I had a full-on breakdown. I remember that my stomach felt like someone had punched me and then began painfully twisting it. I couldn't breathe and just began full-on slobbing. I don't remember if anyone saw me or not, but no one came up to me and said anything. I cried all the tears I could, and after there was nothing left, I managed to catch my breath after a while and finally walked home. I had some very dark thoughts that night. I couldn't stop beating myself up, ruining what I thought was a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Honestly, even during my marriage, I still frequently thought about Alex. For me, he was the one that got away, and I had blamed myself for years. I guess I should mention that the Saturday night when I went out with Alex, I had actually canceled plans with Dave. When he texted me the next day to go mini golfing, I was only too happy to go. Looking back, I seriously attached myself to Dave after that, and our so-called fairy tale love grew from then on. Now, why is this all worth mentioning? Last night, while Dave was proudly telling me all that he had done in order to be with me, he mentioned that he had even paid a guy to have a date with me. When I inquired further, he told me about how Alex was actually paid by Dave to go out on a date with me. The idea was to do a couple of dates, then ditch me. I guess to wreck my self-esteem? Question mark, I don't even know. But I was in absolute shock. I had never mentioned Alex to Dave, and when we had only exchanged messages for a couple of weeks, and then it was only one date. I didn't want Dave to know that I had been talking to other guys in the beginning, so of course I wasn't going to mention it, so that made everything all too real. Dave seemed to have found it funny as he was telling me how he reached out and found some broke aspiring male model who lived in the city a couple hours away. He offered to pay this guy to set up a profile, chat with me, then go out on a few dates. I don't know if Alex was just desperate for cash or an asshole, but either way, he agreed to the proposition. Per Dave, the idea was that Alex would, after a few dates, basically start to act like an asshole and eventually stop seeing me. Per Dave, so that I could learn to appreciate what I have rather than chasing a fantasy. However, Alex saw an opportunity right away, then I threw myself at him, and he took it. I asked him why he would do something like that, and Dave's response was that I was a dumb girl who was chasing guys out of her league and that I needed a reality check to see that the best guy for her was right in front of her face. Up till now, I had been smiling and generally in disbelief about the whole thing, which I only encouraged him to keep going. But the story about Alex just horrified me. I literally had a panic attack after that night with Alex, and looking back at it now, I don't think my self-esteem confidence ever recovered. I asked Dave how much he paid Alex, and he told me $1,000. Now, after Dave admitted about Alex, I immediately went upstairs and went to bed. I guess Dave had another couple beers and passed out on the couch. I saw him this morning, and he is painfully hungover. I had only one other time in my life seen him as drunk as he was last night, and it was many years ago. I wanted to ask him again if it was all true what he said last night, but I know it is. He knew way too many details. He's too hungover anyway to have a coherent talk now. Plus, he could say that he doesn't remember anything. I don't know what to do, or even if there's anything to do. I'm horrified and absolutely shocked at what I learned. I suppose that I had overly romanticized our relationship and marriage, but now it just doesn't seem real. But I have to admit that I'm also perversely very flattered. My husband is not a lazy man, but he struggles to make and keep plans. The story he told last night seems almost unbelievable. And like I said, if it wasn't for the details, I would say no way he is capable of such a thing. That a man would spend so much time and effort just to be with me, although creepy, although does seem a bit romantic, maybe. I don't want to bring this up to any of my friends or family, so the internet seems to be my only option. I guess I'm looking for someone outside of perspective on this. Also, is this normal at all? I mean, have
Girl,
any guys out there manipulated a situation, events to an extreme degree as to be with a girl? Ladies, do you know if your man has done something like this? Up until last night, I had a great, loving husband, beautiful family, and a life that most would kill for. Technically, nothing has changed except what I now know. Since everything was so good, do I even bring it up again? Perhaps I should just accept that my husband wanted me so bad that he went insane to insane measures to make it happen and just be happy with the great life that I have. I just don't know. Maybe I should see a therapist. I just feel so lost right now. I have no idea what to do, if anything. Too long didn't read, which I guess I could have done this version of it. Found out my husband had stalked and manipulated me in the beginning of the relationship, including catfishing me and even paying someone to go on a date with me and be a jerk so that I would fall in love with him.
listen. You know how we always go back and forth with you being like, well, but if everything's been good up until this point and you learn this one thing, are you going to throw away all of those good things because of this one thing? This is one of those situations where I would say, hell yeah, I'm going to throw away. Listen, the level of insanity, okay, that this man, he's a psychopath. Not only did he do this with her, he taught his fucking brother how to do this. He gave him pointers on how to fucking do this. So he's still of this mindset. No. I don't even know where to begin. The levels of deceit. And you paid $1,000 to break this woman down mentally so that you can slide in and scoop her up. Nigga.
I mean, listen, when I read that shit, I was like, this is fucking preposterous. But again, I do ask the same question. How much do you retroactively apply somebody's old bullshit to a new life?
Because this isn't even this isn't, again. Yes, she just not finding out this about him and her, but he is passing down this fucking set of rules and skills to his fucking brother. Like, he's still impacting other people's lives by doing this shit, by teaching other men how to do this. This isn't, no.
Okay, so does that cease to make the issue about my experience and now the way that I need to handle this to make sure he don't do this to other people?
No, it's all together. All of that is one big ass fucking mess. No, it doesn't eliminate what he did. She didn't even like him. Like, he literally, the length that he had to go to get this woman to even want to be with him was to literally break her down into nothing. Why would you even want to be with somebody that you have to do all of this shit to do? Like, oh my God, no. How can you trust anything that goes on outside? He is like a fucking criminal mastermind. Like, what the fuck? That's a lot. And this started 6 months before he even met her. No.
No, more than 6 months, a year and 6 months, because that's when he saw her on their profile.
Nigga, no, that's crazy. He's crazy. The things that he could potentially be capable. No. I don't give a fuck how good our life has been. No. And she still to this day got self-esteem issues because of shit he did. No. Just no. No. It doesn't make up for no. I don't care about her being able to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't care about none of that shit.
So what you're saying is she should right now pack up and leave and take her child and her pregnant self on and start this whole process over with 2 kids now.
Who is the fuck to say that if his kids are like that amount or level of gaslighting and manipulation, I would be concerned for the kids. What if the kids don't want to do what he, when they get to be teenagers? Like, the levels of planning and preparation that he went to for this shit, and that's not romantic. There's nothing romantic about that. That's creepy and weird.
What if a man told you that? What if a man told you that he did this before to another woman, but not you? That y'all met naturally, but he did this to another woman and he regretted it and would not do it again.
The fact that, listen,
because your dialogue right now hinges on what that implies about his capability and what he's capable of in the future, because he would do this. So if he did this to somebody before you, but not you, would his capability of doing it because he had done it before impact how you feel you could be with him moving forward?
Yes, it would. Listen,
so he can't change? He can't be different?
He can, for somebody else, not for me. Listen, again, it's the level. Like, I know people like that kind of manipulate situations. You want to be with somebody, they're not necessarily with the program. So this is beyond what's normal. Well beyond. Okay. This is literally the fucking premise for a show about a psycho ass dog. This is you in real life. No. That's terrifying. That his mind works that way. He put a lot of effort and work, and not just the money. The fact that he paid $1,000 is, I mean, that's crazy. The money is less concerning to me than all of the planning that went into this. The effort, the creating of these fake profiles, the time it took to get her to trust these fake profiles just so he could let her down time and time and time again, so that he could come in and look like this great superhero. No, I couldn't. I don't know who I'm even married to. I don't know you. Oh my God. No, man. No. That's levels of manipulation and stalkery shit that I just could not get past. Like, and the fact that you purposefully fucked up my self-esteem because you did it on purpose so that you could come in. Like, you broke me down as a person. She talking about she was in some dark times after that man told her that he don't date sluts. She could have fucking killed herself. No, you know how much trouble I'm having dating right now. I wish the fuck. Listen, no, no, on point, no. This is not one of those situations where, well, but up until this point, no, no, absolutely fucking not. No, it does not erase this, combat this, overcome this. No, no, Jesus.
Okay, so there is one phrase in here that makes me say, fuck this nigga, leave his ass alone. Outside of that, I mean, maybe I'd be like, listen, if he was crazy for a little while. What? Listen, if the shoe was on the other foot,
for a little while.
If the shoe was on,
18 months of preparation before you even have met this bitch to even know if you want to be with her or not is not a little crazy on point. That's a lot of time he put into this. No.
But maybe his craziness was just about finding love, and now that he got it, it's done.
No. No.
Listen, hold on, wait a minute, nigga. I am not saying that his behavior is acceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. Fuck his behavior. But what if she had found this out 30 years in when they got kids and grandkids? I'm saying, how much do you weigh how the quality of your life now for information that may be seemingly irrelevant moving forward? Now, you're assuming that his other crazy gonna show up at some point. But if it were to never show up, how much weight do you put on that past bullshit to impact the moment?
can't even believe you're asking me this about this.
Look, everybody got a price, Red. Everybody got a price. If you're gonna go from living in a mansion to living in a goddamn shack with your kids, you're going to take that into consideration. Probably not you, but people will take that into consideration. People take that into consideration. If you have to go from eating steak every day to fucking bologna sandwiches because
I came from eating bologna. I'm all right. We'll figure it out.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that she should do either one. I'm not saying you should stay. I'm asking the question, where is the line for people? Men who are listening, if this was your situation, if a woman manipulated you into a relationship, if this was you and she was giving you the life you wanted, would you accept that? Or would you be so hurt by what happened? Women too, would you be so hurt by the fact that he would do something like this? That would be the problem. Now, there's one thing in this whole thing that make me say, okay, fuck it, leave that motherfucker alone. Is when she asked why, he said, you just a dumb girl that was chasing dudes out of your league and you needed a reality check. Bruh, you should have stabbed that nigga in his throat right then. Like, you shouldn't have to leave him. You should just collect the insurance policy. Like, you should just plan to murder that man from that point on. Like, come up with a legitimate, we finna get this insurance money kids plan.
But that's how he still feels about her. The fact that
that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Like, he don't respect her.
But listen, I don't think anybody that would go to those lengths is not gonna be still disrespectful. They may just not be saying anything. He obviously has been feeling this way about her this whole goddamn time. I don't think it's possible for you to put. That's a lot. Again, this is not like the regular little shenanigans that motherfuckers play in the dating game. This is some real life. That is crazy. The levels, the preparation, the knowing that you breaking her down. You love this person, or you feel like you and this person would be really great together. Your answer for that is to break her all the fuck the way down, so that she ain't got no choice or feel like she don't have no other choice. You her last fucking resort. That's what you had to do to get with me. You had to make yourself be my last fucking resort because there was no other way that shit was gonna happen. That's weird and crazy. No. If it was like some regular manipulation, if he was like, even the part of he saw me and befriended Mark on purpose so he could like hang out and get to know, I would accept that. 18 months of prep beforehand? No, nigga, no, that's weird. That's crazy. That is not something that you just grow out of. He ain't gonna just like become a different person out of that. That's a mental illness. No, Jesus Christ. Christ on a cracker.
Yeah.
He's still doing it. He's still like, he don't see nothing wrong with this still. Because he was like, come on, little bro, let me tell you how you get any bitch you want to get. Listen, you see what I got. You see it work for me. Listen, you do this, you gonna have her eating out of the palm of your hand. He still has this mindset. He helped his brother do this shit.
I think she should stay with him. But I think she should be planning on I think she should be setting him up to meet random people at random places and they just beat his ass for the next like 4 years. Like, be like, hey, my husband take this route. I sent him to the grocery store. He gonna be there. I'm gonna pay you. Just beat the shit out of him. And that's what it's gonna be. Just have him get his ass beat. Like, get some get back. Like, enjoy the life you got, but get these moments of clarity. Like, take his toothbrush and run it around the toilet real quick. You know what I'm saying? Just get you a little bit of power. It's that intrinsic power that you get in a relationship when you do little bullshit like that. To somebody who's wronged you or hit you with some bullshit. I'm just talking shit, man. That is a very, very, like, the potential as a mental health professional, the potential for somebody to be as emotionally abusive as this dude's actions indicated that he is willing to be in order to achieve his goal is not a healthy relationship. And I don't think she's ever really going to psychologically recover from just hearing this story. Anyway.
No.
Like, that shit.
I'm not going to recover, and it didn't happen to me. Shit. My God. Oh no. Mm-mm. That is terrifying. Like, and the callousness in which he talked about this and telling her to her face that she was just dumb and looking for people outside, like you was going too beyond what your level is. I had to bring you back down to what your level really is. Like, I I would have killed him in that moment. He would have died. He would have died because I would have blacked out. Because I would have thought about how, because you don't forget no shit like that. Like that, all of that shit, she probably remember each and every one of those instances where she got stood up, where she was sitting in a restaurant waiting for somebody that never fucking came, where somebody came and said, "Oh, I saw you, but you ugly," and I left. Like, I would have had, I don't know. I don't know. Fuck. Jesus.
That's but that's it. That's the story.
That's why I stay out of that Reddit you be getting this shit from, because this shit right here, you know I'm already paranoid. God damn. I wouldn't
Yeah,
even
I've been
want
trying to
date
take it to a new level.
Fuck. New level indeed. God damn. Okay, well, y'all probably ain't gonna be able to top that shit, but if you have a question or a scenario that you would like to send into the show, you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartist@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook, Conversation Con Artists, and send it to us that way. I don't even know. Jesus.
I got viral pause.
Hey, maybe this will help me get my equilibrium back.
I got viral pause. All right. To the man who randomly stopped texting a girl after you used to talk to her all day, every day, why'd you stop? I was always the one who was initiating conversations. I stopped initiating the conversations to see if she would, and she never did, so I figured she just didn't care about me, so I would stop trying. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Do you feel like as a woman is do you feel like it's the man's obligation to make conversation happen?
I think both of you need to be making conversation happen, because I have had situations where I've stopped talking to somebody because I feel it's like pulling teeth. Like, I gotta keep pulling out conversation. Like, conversation flows. It should flow. And if it doesn't, I mean, it's problematic. So I don't think it's either person's job to be. I think both of you need to be doing that in order for the conversation to continue to flow smoothly. I don't want to be picking my brain all the time trying to find shit, and then you just giving me one word answers to shit. Now I gotta find something. Like, no.
Well, a lot of women put men, and I'm sure men put women through this too, but probably, I don't know, maybe to a lesser degree, maybe not. But, we are supposed to be the aggressors. We're supposed to be the ones that's, trying to get you. So I think a lot of women look at that as, you got to make me laugh. You like a jester, like a court jester. The king is like, a woman is like, you make me laugh, entertain me. You have to bring me over to saying yes to you. I got plenty of men after me. I don't have to say yes to you. Make it worth my while. And I think a lot of I fucking lost my thought. Damn. A lot of women in these interactions expect a man to, I said this before on social media. Women will be like, don't just say hey or what's up, send me something creative. Like, clearly 30 dudes is saying hey, what's up. They want you to say some old wow, out the way, different shit. It feel like tap dance, and it's like they got a pistol at your fingers, in their fingers at your feet, saying, "Hey, dance!" Pop, 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 pop. Just
Well, I think that's because we receive more messages. Responding to 30, hey, what's up? After a while, you like, nigga, anything else but that, please.
I mean,
we get more messages than y'all do.
I mean, it is what it is on that front. But yeah, I like when a closed-ended responses, and her not asking any questions after I've spent 2 days asking questions. It's like, I do know that some of it come with that because I was exchanging a conversation with somebody before, and I was asking them questions, and they were answering them, and then they weren't asking no questions. Then at a certain point, they were like, same questions to you, which was just bouncing my questions back to me. And then at some point, they started adding their own questions. So it's a process in a lot of instances, but it's only so long I can go with you not really actively participating in the conversation.
Yeah.
Next, the main reason why most men are single is because the character of the women they want is not in the body shape they admire.
Wow. That's rude as fuck.
I mean,
Jesus.
I don't know. What do y'all expect from men? Because men, since the dawn of time, have been aesthetically oriented, meaning that we just been looking at what we can see.
Ass and titties.
That's it. And sometimes just overall beauty. You can be skinny. You can be skinny and just be gorgeous, I guess. But that ain't enough for me. I feel like really gorgeous women have had enough meats to maybe have some STDs lingering.
I can't.
Like if you have your choice of meats, that's more risky. For me, like you are really, really pretty. How many meats have you had in your life?
Oh, Jesus.
That's that blind spot shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's that misogyny. Next one. One fact about a man, he will stay in touch with the woman he should have kept.
You know what? Yes,
I know you. I know that one's gonna touch you.
Cause I literally just this week, I'm not even joking. Two niggas that I used to fuck with messaged me. One of them was like, "I'm in Birmingham. I'd like to see you while I'm here." And then the other one just sent the regular. He every few months he'll just, "What's up, Jen?" I'm like, okay. Why?
I don't think they know what you've become. And I guess the most recent one that from the past is probably the closest to what you become, but the early ones, they don't know what you become because of them. They have no idea.
They have no idea.
You probably respond generally enough that they still have a little bit of hope that you the same as you was before.
Yeah,
nah,
like nothing much. Like I ain't got time. So yeah, but no, I think that's very true. I don't know why they want to keep in touch with you. For what? Move on with your life.
Beyonce made a song called Single Ladies, then went home to her husband and left you lonely hoes dancing in a circle pretending to be happy.
I didn't seen that one before.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
You can be lonely and happy.
Her husband was cheating on her. Let's not forget that. People be acting like just because you in a relationship, all shit is, listen, whatever.
I feel like Beyonce whooped his ass.
Beyonce, no, I don't think so.
No, I feel like Beyonce busted that nigga ass up in the house, and he rich enough to stay in home while he healed, and we would never know.
I don't really get that from her. Solange, absolutely, but like Beyonce seemed like she would be a lot more complacent.
Nah. I think Beyonce would do some shit behind closed doors and never talk about it. I think Solange would do the shit out in the open in a party on the elevator with a camera on it. But I think Beyonce will take a fucking cast iron skillet across that nigga face.
Maybe.
They come from the same place. It ain't no way Beyonce ain't a throwing hands ass motherfucker if Solange will be. I just don't think she'll do it out there.
I mean, I have different personalities from my brothers, and we all grew up in the same place. Not necessarily. You and JD got different personalities.
Your family don't count because you and William are the fucking same person, and y'all had all of the same shit.
True.
The other two brothers got their own level of fucked up issues that wouldn't register into them being nothing like y'all at any point. But the fact that you and William are the same motherfucker, like you and William would threaten the same motherfuckers that he would threaten the same people you would threaten.
Yeah.
Your other brothers don't count. There's just too many variables in the situation. But I mean, what you're saying is true. You know what I'm saying? You can't use your family as an example, but I don't know. I feel like Beyonce is she's militant. She is assertive when it comes to the message she's trying to display, and all of Lemonade gave the whole vibe of "I'll beat your ass." All of it gave the vibe of "I will whoop the fuck out of you," but with lyrics and a platinum album. But I feel like she beat his ass and he just accepted it. I don't know. I'm gonna believe that. I want to believe that. Next one. Toxic trait. My problem is I forgive, but don't forget. Then I unforgive and get mad again because you ain't have to do me like that.
Hell no, that's too much back and forth.
Getting fat in a black family is truly traumatizing because they're gonna immediately and rudely tell you.
Oh my fucking listen.
Reply. Hold on. Grandma's titties be sitting on her stomach, but she have the audacity to worry about somebody's weight.
Yep. And so listen, I gained weight, and now it's like I think it's kind of we just. It's been enough time where it's like, okay, this is just the size I am now. But in the beginning, it was a topic of conversation with every fucking family. Like, it was so annoying. It's like, why you feel comfortable coming up to me saying this shit? And like my grandma's sister was the worst. My Aunt Ruth was awful. My Aunt Ruth would come in and be like, get them big ass hips out the way. Aunt Ruth. Okay, just because you built like SpongeBob, don't come over here hating on me. All right? Calm down. Calm the fuck down. No, that's true. That's 100% true. That shit is so irritating too. Shut the fuck up. I know. I buy my clothes. I know what size I am. Shit.
You're not gonna like this one, Red.
Oh fuck.
Me and Dick be sweating all day and won't head on arrival. You lucky I like salt on my nuts.
Ew. This is disgusting. Wash your penis.
Don't act like you ain't been there.
Next.
Whether you knew it or not.
You know what musty balls smell like? Like, no.
I know. I mean, I'm saying some are more musty than not, I guess. I would assume. I don't know. I only dealt with my balls. That's a question that woman would have to answer.
I can't.
On a scale from 0 to 10 of musty balls and men, how often do you get super must versus no must? Don't answer that. I'm just bullshit. You wouldn't answer it anyway.
Fucking right.
How are you going to say all lives matter when you just 2 months ago wanted to sacrifice your own grandma for the economy?
Yes, Jesus. They didn't want to wear the mask. They would open these stores back up. Give a fuck about Nana then.
All right. I got a few more. Every other basic response. We stand with our black employees, Ben and Jerry's. We gotta fucking smash white supremacy. Fuck the KKK and fuck you. Black Lives Matter. Our new flavor is called Fuck the Police. It's got blueberries. Bro, Ben and Jerry's be coming through when shit happens, man.
Look, listen.
I was in Publix the other day, like, I'm finna get some fucking Ben and Jerry's for justice, goddamn. And then I realized it was $5.19 for a little fucking... And principal took over and wouldn't allow me to spend money for justice like that. But when that shit buy one, get one free, I'm gonna buy 4 of them hoes.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's is the truth.
And I don't like Ben and Jerry's ice cream. All of them taste the same to me. For some reason.
Yeah.
Time zones are so weird. Like, it's May 30th in Australia, May 29th in Europe, and still 1920 in America.
Accurate, unfortunately.
If I say hun like 7 times, don't say never mind. Please don't give up on me. I'm trying my best.
I would look. Never mind. Never fucking mind. I done said it 18,000 times and you still don't know. No. I'm that person that's gonna give up on you. Like, just don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay. Well, that's it.
Okay. I really don't have a lot. in the way of stories just because everything is kind of still surrounding George Floyd. The reason why my moniker this week is shutting the fuck up is free is because there's been a lot of celebrities that just don't know how to shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just don't say nothing. Okay? And it's not even just white people. You expect white people who are tone deaf to come and say some bullshit during these times that you be like, really? But it's been some black folks, most notably Trina, the Diamond Princess, who basically equated black folks to animals and said that, you know, her registration is straight. She ain't worried. Her license is up to date. Because that's the reason why this shit is happening. Trina, first of all, it's Trina. I don't really know why people have such high expectations for Trina. At all. But it's Trina. Like you really should not expect her to be, you know, grasping too many concepts outside of the hood shit she talks about. Personal.
She is a self-proclaimed bad bitch. She is a proud hoe that you don't know any of the others that do the things that she does. And hence should probably invalidate how we accept her referring to other black people.
Yeah.
Like, why are we gonna listen to how you feel about black people calling yourself a bitch and a hoe? I mean, I understand, because when it comes to the N word, and if you don't know what word that is, then it's nigga if you black, nigger if you're white and racist. Then my idea of that word is what we did was we reappropriated that bitch, right? We took that motherfucker like white people had, and we snatched it out their hand and said, do something, motherfucker. And we took it and we started using it. And it wasn't a full reappropriation, because a lot of people still don't fuck with it, because it is a word that's connected to a lot of pain. And I think that Trina tried to do that with Baddest Bitch, and she tried to do that with You Don't Know Nan Ho. It didn't work for Ho, and it kind of worked for Bitch, you know, because, you know, women started being like, hey bitch, like that shit that they do between each other.
Yeah.
But that still don't give her enough credence for me to care about how she interprets the world we live in. And the fact that she called them animals. And then my thing about the conversation, it was her and Trick Daddy, man. I don't know if it's the lean or the lupus or the whatever the fuck it is in his life, but it don't seem like he could respond. It seemed like his grunts and sounds made it sound like he wanted to say some good shit. He just didn't have the vocabulary to do it. He was like, man, you, yeah. It's always emotional with you, ain't it? Uh-huh. I don't know how to turn that into a valid argument against what you're saying, but, you know, that's kind of how he was. And I was like, I was waiting for him to say some good shit, and I was like, he ain't equipped.
Okay.
And she got mad real fast, you know.
She did.
She hinted on, okay, I don't like looters because one of my friend's shop got looted. Okay.
And that was one of the arguments. I was talking with somebody this week about this, and they was like, well, she was just upset about her friend's store getting looted. They're separate things. Like, you can be upset about a specific incident and still not insult an entire culture of people that are your people, who are the people that buy your fucking music. She could have, and I mean, and maybe I'm giving her too much credit in being able to articulate this, but if her friend's store being looted was the issue, then speak on that. Do not say that all of these people out here is animals, Trina. That's not what you do. That ain't it. For sure. And of course, you know, she, you know how most white people, when they will get to Drew Brees, but like Drew Brees, for example, that come back and they're all apologetic. Trina, like, first she doubled down because people got in her ass about it. And then she came back still with an apology that was not really an apology. And I'm just like, girl, just stop talking. Shutting the fuck up is free. It don't cost you anything to just not say nothing. And sometimes if you're not articulate and you can't get your point across in a way that's going to be received well, then just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just hush. It's all right. You ain't got to talk.
And she pulled out the old black on black crime. Goddamn. My brother was killed by a black man. That's how she said it. And I'm
You
like,
know why your brother was killed by a black man? Because your brother was around black people. The same way that a lot of white people get killed by white people because they're around white people. And a lot of Hispanic people get killed by other Hispanic people because they're around fucking Hispanic people. That's how the shit is set up.
That ain't even the biggest takeaway with black on black crime. The biggest takeaway is that, one, it don't exist. But for the sake of this dialogue and the sake that the propaganda has made us believe that it exists, I'm going to use the terminology just to make my point. Black on black crime is not a problem because, you know, it don't exist, and white on white crime should be a thing if black on black crime is a thing because the percentages are close. The biggest issue with it is that, especially how she said it, is that in the context of Black Lives Matter, if a black person kills a black person, they are either going to go to jail or they're going to be hunted for the rest of their lives. And if they found out, they're going to be arrested. That equates to that life mattering. You know, that life that was lost matters because the justice system has said, we're going to go get this life that took it. That makes that life matter. When it comes to police who kill unarmed black people that don't get accountability, that don't go to jail, the same system is saying that life doesn't matter because we're not willing to hold a person who did it accountable, especially when it's some notable fuck shit. Clearly, if your cousin pulled out the chopper and aimed it at the police and they got their ass lit up, then I'm sorry, motherfucker was supposed to die. That was a bad decision. But what we, and we don't, and you know what? The numbers that they keep saying, they keep bringing up this discrepancy between how many white people die and how many black people die. Yeah, more white people die than black people in this conversation when you talk about how many were killed by the police. But the reality is, one, white people outnumber black people 1-5. So the numbers are disproportionate. But also, all of those people who died most of the time are people who probably should have died because they was on some bullshit. You know, it's a handful
of with a whole lot more shit.
Yeah, it's overt examples when black people get shot where they shouldn't have. Oh, he had a cell phone, bop, he got shot. Oh, he was holding a BB gun that Walmart sells, and boom, he got shot. Oh, we had a kid out here playing guns and robbers, and he got a drive-by on him by the police. Oh, we got George Floyd who got a knee in his neck. You know, or we got Freddie Gray who got his neck broke in the back of a van or with nobody watching. Or we got Breonna Taylor who got a no-knock raid on her house and got shot at the wrong house. Like, there's no stories of that shit happening to white people. It's one that they keep pulling up that happened like some years ago. But that don't happen. That moment where it don't make sense for this to have happen to white people. When we seeing white people get shot, it's because they got a gun in a park shooting at people. It's not because they told a cop, I'm a carrier, concealed carrier, and I have my gun, and then you end up getting blasted in your driver's seat. That shit ain't happening to white people. So you can't use that as a comparison. And frankly, I'm appalled that motherfuckers don't understand that. But then right after I'm appalled, I remember that a lot of people are stupid. A lot of people don't research. A lot of people just listen to talking points and regurgitate them.
Yep.
And it's problematic. So.
Well, the only other thing, so while we're on this train, is Drew Brees. Drew Brees, tone deaf as shit. If you don't know, Drew Brees plays for the New Orleans Saints. And for whatever fucking reason, he decided to come out and say that he still doesn't support people disrespecting the flag and how his forefathers fought and how he can't get behind it and he can't agree with it when nobody is even talking about the goddamn flag right now. Drew, this is not even a part of the conversation currently. Other than to say that y'all don't have a problem with this officer putting his knee on George Floyd neck, but you had a problem with Kaepernick putting his knee on the ground to protest some shit. That's the only way in which the flag has kind of still been mentioned. And then for you to go and this would be your talking point, it's like, Drew, sir. So, of course, people got in his ass. And then he came back with this publicist response and an apology, which, whatever. And then President Trump decided to tell him, you shouldn't have apologized. They shouldn't be disrespecting the flag. And then he came out with another little response to Trump saying that this isn't about the flag. It's about the Black lives being lost. And it just all seems so disingenuous because of how it happened. So, and again, shutting the fuck up is free. It don't cost you anything to just be quiet and not say anything. And for the people that are like, well, Drew Brees is white, why would you have any other expectations? Well, listen. There are white people. You got white people out here marching and getting shot up with these rubber bullets too. And so when you have this expectation that the person that you like, admire, stand for, whatever the case may be, don't have this kind of ideology, when you find out that he does, you're gonna be upset about it. You're not gonna. I mean, there's a lot of people who probably did not put Drew Brees into this category that he's found himself in now. But you had like LeBron, and then what is that bitch name from Fox News that told LeBron to just shut up and dribble?
Laura Ingraham.
Laura Ingraham, who told him to just shut up and dribble when he was talking about this same fucking topic and how athletes don't nobody care about their political views. With Drew Brees, she was like, well, he's allowed to have an opinion. He's allowed to say how he feels. Is he? What's the difference? He's an athlete too. Should he not just shut up and catch the ball? I don't know what quarterbacks do. They catch the ball. They throw the ball. Whatever he does in his position. I don't know. Whatever it is.
Because Laura Ingraham sells propaganda. She sells things that make you feel a certain way about one group and another way about another group. And she does it very well to the old people that watch her.
She does.
Sean Hannity and what his name? Carlson Tucker. All of them motherfuckers, they do the same shit. I guess the question becomes, how much do we believe that Drew Brees being schooled about all of this is genuine? How much of this is, I don't want to have a strained relationship with my black coworkers that I play football with, and so I want to make sure that they feel like I'm doing everything I can be doing, versus is he genuinely, really, truly getting it?
At this point, with this specific case where there's just no question, there's no question that this was just, I mean, all of the cases for me have been that way. But this one specifically, where you got like all of these companies and shit, like my Reddit little sign is black. Twitter changed their bird to black. You have all of these entities rallying behind this, in this particular one. I don't know how you could still be that tone deaf and it not be some shit. Like, did he get schooled, or is he just, I don't think he did. I don't think that he knows any more now than he did before he said that shit.
I think he does. Because you know what? Charlemagne do the same shit. I don't give a fuck what you say. Charlemagne say some dumbass shit. He go to Twitter and go to his friends. They school his ass about some stupid he said, and he come back sounding enlightened as fuck, but make it sound like it's just him that became enlightened somehow.
But
and
I
that's
feel
what happened.
Disingenuous from him too. Like,
I just need to know what your plan is. Even with all of these, like Apex Legends, I play that game. Black Lives Matter screen. Call of Duty, Black Lives Matter. PS5, we're pushing back our events because we stand with the black community.
Amazon got to sign up on their website.
Facebook too.
Yeah.
And we know Facebook be out here throwing black people in Facebook jail for saying white, even though white people saying nigga and don't nothing happen. But this is the thing. Target got a plan. Target is giving $10 million to black community projects. Michael Jordan and Jordan Brand is giving $100 million to black community projects. So when you put Black Lives Matter, we stand with the black community, does that shit come with a plan, or are you gonna go back to business as usual? I mean, Target was at the center of this shit. To me, Target is handling this shit well. Target got their whole business tore up. And they could have been like, fuck this movement. They tore up one of our stores. But you know what? They coming out and they being what I think is socially responsible with this dialogue. And I was listening to a video today of somebody talking about Dave Chappelle being heckled in 2015. Somebody in the audience said police brutality. He said, give me a topic. And they said police brutality. And then a woman yelled out, tough luck, deal with it. And he said, what did you say? And she said, tough luck, deal with it. And he pretty much gave a whole lesson about the shit. And he talked about some revolution in the past. I don't remember which one it was. He said that the threshold of pain was met and a revolution happened and the government couldn't do anything about it. He said that there will be another threshold of pain that's met where everybody feels the pain and the government can't do nothing about it. And I'm starting to feel like this is one of them moments. I'm starting to feel like when you look at how these police forces are being overwhelmed to the point that they got to retreat the city, it's starting to feel like this is a part where so many people are coming to be educated about what's going on that it's changing the dynamic. But we also, as a culture, can't become complacent and sit back and be like, well, it's done. It's happened. We got to figure out how to move this shit forward, y'all. We can't slow down. We can't let people forget. I don't think we got to do it by being out in the streets wilding, but we've got to figure out somehow how to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that a person like Drew Brees can become more aware. I think
overnight.
Yes, overnight. I mean, he probably could not get off with a phone. I mean, I bet one of his closest black players called him and said, "Why you bring that motherfucking flag shit up?" Good and goddamn well that shit wasn't about no damn flag, Drew. As much as we've been in practice telling your ass it ain't have shit to do about the flag, what you do. He probably spent a whole 24 hours with them conversations and then realizing that motherfuckers is hurt from this shit. And not only that, but then the NFL came out with comments about this. So, I don't
know. Do you think that they are genuine in their statements?
Genuineness for me is going to be measured by your fucking plans and what you do afterward. I really don't give a fuck if you ain't genuine if you put money into the shit. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't give a fuck what your heart say. I can't judge your heart by shit. It's the same shit white America say. Well, he has a good heart. I ain't never been able to see what a fucking good heart look like on the outside. Yeah. Do some shit that helps me see that whether your heart is in the right place or not, you're willing to at least invest in the solution. So if the NFL reach out to Colin Kaepernick and I don't know, maybe they'll try to give him a job or maybe they'll try to make him some kind of diversity ambassador. I don't give a fuck, man. If they put some money in Colin Kaepernick's pocket that's acceptable to Colin Kaepernick, I'll say, okay, NFL is good with me. If they start to try to put money in the black community and black community projects like Jordan Brand is doing and like Target is doing, I'd be like, okay, let's see how they do moving forward. Because the reality is everybody could use this as a moment to recover from their diversity problematic bullshit. H&M probably got a statement. Gucci probably got a statement. All of these companies that have had problems with racism probably got a statement out. This might be they bullshit ass way to recover from the shit and issues that they had with blackness, where people can say, oh yeah, they put out a statement. They good now. But we can't be just okay with a statement. We got to be okay with motherfuckers taking action and doing shit to erase the problems that exist. Not just letting them motherfuckers continue. You got any more comments on that? Because we running out of fucking time.
Right.
And I got so much shit. Candace Owens. Candace Owens, number one, is her views are as problematic as the space between her eyes. Look at her video. Tell me them space between her eyes ain't weird. Just tell me that shit ain't weird. Her eyes are closer to the side of her face than to her nose. Okay? And you know what? I wouldn't even be saying shit like this about a person if it was a person that seemed to have some decent opinions, but she is clearly clout chasing. She is clearly somebody who just wants to be contrary for this shit. The Hodge twins too. I don't know if y'all know the Hodge twins, but they was just some silly dudes that used to work out and weightlift. They had some fucked up teeth. They got Invisalign. They was funny. Now they the conservative twins. If you want to be wealthy in America, the America that we have now, all you got to do is be a smart motherfucking black person and become a conservative, and you will get rich, because that's what motherfuckers who are willing to sell the culture out for is doing. And that's what Candace Owens is doing. Candace Owens basically came out and said, hey, I don't support George Floyd because he was a criminal, but I hope his family gets justice. And that is the most fucked up thing to say. She say, I'm not willing to paint him as a martyr. You know, she's making it seem like people are praising George Floyd. What the fuck do we have to praise him about? This man got humiliated by the fucking police. And you know what? For me, his mural reminds us that a white man can humiliate us and murder us in the fucking streets, and nothing can happen to him. At least nothing wasn't going to happen to him if this shit didn't go down. It just would have been another fucking write-up if all of this shit didn't happen. So I think she is really confusing the terms praise with memorializing, because memorializing don't have to have praise attached to it. His memorial reminds me that shit can happen to me. It don't remind me that he was a great person. There's no reason to judge what kind of person he was. I don't give a fuck. I ain't looked into his past or nothing, because it don't matter. Because it don't matter what he's done. He didn't deserve to have his knee placed on his neck for 8.5 fucking minutes while he was dying and calling out for his mama that passed away. So fuck Candace Owens from here on out. And I listened to a debate with her yesterday because Facebook, you see the videos, you click them, and another dude on the other side, I was just trying to see the points he was bringing up to her shit because he was on her show. And he had some good points, but she is so lost. It's like she jumped into the deep end of bullshit against the black community and anti-blackness, and she is just comfortable there because people are paying her to be places, and if that's what she want, that's what she gonna have. So fuck Candace Owens, and fuck anybody who agree with her. Now I'm just gonna go down the rung of stories I had from this point on, and then we'll call the show, okay?
All right.
And if you got comments on them, just kick in. Kanye West donated $2 million to the families of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. And somebody, I can't remember who it was, said that Kanye West gave away all of his MAGA hats, and that they were only using this platform to get the Walker, Alice Walker, out of jail, and yada yada blah blah blah. So now the world is looking at Kanye and saying, okay, that was all a ploy. No. Kanye is now, for the black, because he's marching and doing shit. Listen, I'm not gonna be the one to say that that's not the case, but I don't believe it.
No, I don't either.
I think it's evident that Kanye West lives from moment to moment. And I think that when he was living in those moments he was living in, it was with no idea that the future is what we focusing on with everything we doing. I think he was living in that moment, and he would believe what he believed, and he said what he said, because why would he take on all the scrutiny by saying some of the shit he said? He could have moved a lot more calculated if that was the place. He wouldn't have said no shit like we still enslaved. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or we could have got out of slavery if we wanted to, whatever. Y'all know what he said. So I don't believe it, but I'm not going to make it seem that like there's room that it's not. But like I just said, I don't really give a fuck where your heart is or where your intention is. If he continues to put money into shit that helps my community, then I'll fuck with him. I'll believe him. I'll let him have it until he fuck up again. Let's see what's next. Oh, the Brat came out as lesbian. I don't think anybody is surprised. I really, I saw my business partner posted on Facebook that when somebody comes out to you and says that I'm out of the closet, then you shouldn't say I already knew. You should say I appreciate you for trusting that information to me, because saying I already knew is really not respectful to the moment that the person is having. So from knowing my business partner and the struggle she had with coming out, it feel kind of weird to say who didn't know, but I mean, who didn't know? So that's blind spot stuff. um Let me see. Okay, so there's a viral video going on where a older man, 75-year-old man, got pushed by some police officers in New York. Two officers put their hands on him, pushed him. He fell down, hit his head on the sidewalk, and blood came out of his ear. What the fuck kind of injury do you gotta have where blood come out of your ears? If that man was leaking,
75 years old.
I mean,
It don't take a lot.
I'm just saying.
His body is old.
Either way, so the two officers that pushed him, one of them that pushed him was about to bend down and help him, and a dude behind them stopped him, and they kept walking past him. And once all of the police officers walked past him, the military members were the one that got down and helped him, which really shows a distinct difference between the integrity of police officers and military members. But those two officers were arrested. And after they were arrested, all the other 57 members of the police resigned from that response team. They didn't respond. They didn't resign from the force. They didn't quit. They just said, we ain't going out to these protest responses no more, in solidarity with their friends who visibly pushed this man down and his head started bleeding. Like, there is the culture of police is that our friends should be able to push this man down without getting in trouble. He shouldn't have came up to us. That's what just happened. And that's a problem. And, people always say, and I don't know why people use this analogy with police officers because it's horrible. They say that they only a few bad apples. They're only a few bad apples. Red, do you know the rest of the quote about what they say about bad apples?
Spoils the whole bunch.
They spoiled the whole fucking bunch. So why in the fuck would you use the analogy of a few bad apples when, yes, they do ruin the whole fucking bunch? Because I look at them two cops, and you know what? I imagine that all those other 57 are like those two, because they came to the aid of them motherfuckers. None of them said that shit was fucked up. Not out loud. They might have said it between each other, and they might have said, I knew that they ass was going to push somebody at some point and get fucked up. But if they ain't telling us and weeding those motherfuckers out, then it's not my job to determine who the good apples and the bad apples. Because as long as bad apples fucking exist, then the whole bunch is going to be ruined as far as I give a fuck. So that shit happened. On the same lines of all of these statues being removed, Virginia City removes a 176-year-old slave auction block.
Why in the fuck was that still even up?
Please tell me why.
Oh my God.
Tell me why. Let me. So Amy Cooper, the woman who got called the cops on the black bird watching dude, she got her dog back. Like, that shit is the epitome of white privilege. She pretty much called them and threatened them, and they said, we're gonna give you your dog back. And after she choked that dog, she gave him back. Like, instead of getting charges put on her ass for making a false report on a black person that could have got him fucked up if he wasn't recording, they have the audacity to get that woman her dog back and not the ability to bring charges on her some kind of way. Let me see. Disney, when I say that they need a plan, if you put under blackout shit or you put we stand with the black community, Disney is donating $5 million to NAACP and equality and justice causes. Put a plan into play. All of these corporations can put plans into play that can start helping shit in the black community and other communities. They should do it. One last thing. There is a video, a horrible video of about 20 black dudes in a grocery store beating up a trans woman. And it is fucking disgusting. I mean, it's just 20 dudes. It look like they just waiting their turn to just punch and wail out on this person. And I'm like, what did this person do? I mean, it's irrational and unreasonable and bullshit if you're a lone black guy that ends up hitting a trans woman. But for 20 dudes to be standing around just watching this shit happen, what the fuck? And to that, all I have to say is what's going on right now, if you're a black person that picks and chooses what version of black you are willing to accept, then you ain't an advocate for black. And I don't give a fuck about your opinion. If you're not an advocate for black LGBT, even if it's uncomfortable to you, even if you haven't grown to the level of being able to accept a trans woman being referred to as a trans woman rather than saying man or sir or whatever, mister or whatever jokes you want to use to still identify them as a man, then that's fine. But if they black and you invalidate their blackness because you're not willing to accept that, then I don't give a fuck about your opinion about blackness at all. And that was a fucking heinous video. And I mean, I feel like with how bad that looked, like I feel like I would have to try to step in, even if I would get my ass beat. Like, I'm never in those situations. I'm never put in one, and I don't know how I would react. But I just don't see myself allowing a fucking violent act that I could do something about and just walking away from it. That shit was disgusting. And it ain't that much shit that get to me like that, but they was beating the hell out this girl, and that fucked me up. Seeing how many dudes were complacent with that. So blackness exists in a myriad of ways, you know. And I mean, fuck Candace Owens by how she talked, but if she was getting her ass beat in the street by a bunch of white people, then I'll stop her. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm an advocate for black, however it looks. Even ways that I don't agree with, even ways that's uncomfortable, and even ways that I'm growing to be more comfortable with and that I'm growing to understand more. That being said, that's all I got. Oh, man, I had a lot of shit that I X'd off. I'm so ambitious when it comes to the stories that I get. But that being said, you got anything else on your mind?
I do not.
All right. Well, until we come to the next conversation.
We out.
Holla.